Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Hot Mic Show. I'm Bill Whittle, live from Los Angeles. And with us today is my friend Laura Loomer, who's a reporter for The Rebel Media. You can find them at therebel.media.com. Laura's been talking about a story of a Trump supporter who was accused of making a death threat to an Islamic center, was arrested with 20 police officers and drawn guns, and then paraded all of his legally owned weapons out there as a sign that he was about to commit mass murder, because those nutty conservatives, you know, they're just that far away from snapping. But it turns out he didn't make the call. Turns out the call was made by the son of a Democratic politician. You know, Laura, we were talking earlier about the raid on how he was arrested, and I couldn't help but be reminded of Nagula, Basli Nagula. Remember him? He's the guy who made the movie that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama claimed was the reason that the Benghazi situation exploded. They blamed it on a movie made 6 months earlier. This is an American citizen who basically made a movie and figured, you know, I have a First Amendment right to say whatever I want to. Only no, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama blamed him for the Benghazi catastrophe, and he was arrested at midnight with 28 or some number like that state troopers to make sure that this dangerous filmmaker not escape in a hail of gunfire. What the hell is going on here, Laura?
I mean, I think that the establishment and really, you know, the Democrats altogether, they really just want to completely strip conservatives of their First Amendment right. They can't get rid of us entirely, right? I mean, if they could, they would. So they're doing everything they can to just take away our ability to speak out. We see it on college campuses with these riots. You see it with the way Antifa reacts at protests. You see it with, you know, the arrest of filmmakers and journalists. You know, I mean, look at how many journalists were charged, you know, under Obama's presidency for what? For espionage, I believe, more than any other presidency combined. So, you know, it's clear
and Dinesh
that
D'Souza too.
Yeah, and of course what they did to Dinesh. It's clear that there's an assault on our First Amendment, and you know, you can't take away the First Amendment, but you can break a person down. You can humiliate a person, and you can beat them up so badly to the point where they're almost fearful of speaking out, you know, because of these consequences, which are now becoming violent. We see that people are acting out in very violent ways, and they're trying to coerce conservatives and Trump supporters into being silent.
Yeah. Let me ask you one final question, Laura, getting short on time. You were able to determine all of these facts that we mentioned during the show, that this man was falsely accused, that he didn't make the calls, that there were no traces of the call records because the call records were never traced. However, son of a Democratic politician did have a call to the Islamic Center, and so on and so on and so on. Here's my point. You have done the work that the Los Angeles Police Department, the state of California, the Los Angeles Times, and everybody else should have done. There are entire buildings, huge buildings containing thousands and thousands and thousands of employees who are supposed to be doing the job that you're doing, and you're out there doing it by yourself because you have some respect for this idea left called the truth. How did you get yourself into a situation like this? I don't even know. It's not even a question, Laura. Really what it is, I'm just trying to tell you how much I admire you. I can't believe that one person could do all of this as simply as possible. So my question in closing briefly is, how does it feel for you to be a real reporter, an actual reporter, not a guy who's in the news suppression business, somebody dedicated to finding out what the truth is and exposing it so that the American people can make their own decisions? How does it feel to be one of the last reporters left on the American continent?
No, I mean, it feels great when you can report something that, you know, that when you can disprove a narrative that the left-wing mainstream media has been pushing, right? These lies that they've been pushing in order to destroy lives. But at the end of the day, it feels great knowing that I have the capability to do journalism like this. But it's not like the mainstream media and these, you know, powerful multi-million-dollar news corporations are picking up the story, right? I mean, alternative media is on a rise, and it's up to us to report real news that the fake news refuses to cover. But we're still outnumbered in terms of resources, right? So it would be
to
great
say the least.
It would be great if the real news would say, "Hey, look, we made a mistake, or this is wrong. Our reporting was wrong. Let's actually correct the record." But I've reached out to, the outlets that defame this individual and reported this fake news story and asked them to correct the record, and they've said no. They aren't replying. So, there's only so much citizen journalists like myself can do, right? It's at the end of the day, we still don't have the power to impact the editorial nature of the mainstream media.
It's coming, though. It's coming. It's getting stronger every day. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Laura Loomer from therebel.media.com. You can see her writing over there. And I don't know if they have a donation page or anything, but if you want to actually get some actual news out with actual reporters, that's where I would drop a dime, me personally. Laura, thanks so much for being with us today. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, one person in an apartment, essentially, in New York or Washington, I forget where Laura is able to do some fundamental footwork. I mean, just the basics. What do the phone records say? What about all these other things? Did this actually happen, yes or no? And it turns out that not forget the whole thing about the narrative, forget about blowing open the narrative, forget about using this as a counterbalance to the Muslim terrorism thing. Put all of that aside. One individual American citizen's life has been ruined and destroyed by this machine, by this left-wing smear machine, abetted by the California, state of California, the Los Angeles Times, and all these other newspapers that couldn't do the fundamental basic footwork that one individual in an apartment in New York could do probably in the space of an hour. So it's disgusting and it's disgraceful. And we're going to be looking at more of these stories as the days and weeks go by. I'm Bill Whittle. This is the Hot Mic Show. We'll see you tomorrow right here on NRATV.